At the end of the 6 questions, we have a very clear pause, a gap on the page, and this is the only stanza break in the entire poem. And it's a reasonably sized gap, and for me it's very significant. And it implies to me that the person asking the questions is taking their time to think them through. The person answering, where the questions have been fired out one after another with no pause for reflection or indeed for an answer, the answers seem far more considered, far more thoughtful, and therefore the voice, and we must presume this is some kind of Vietnamese voice, although it's not necessarily, seems more intelligent, seems a much more likeable voice. And so I'd just like to go over the answers to the questions that we looked at earlier. And answer number 1 did the people of Vietnam use lanterns of stone as this: "Sir, their light hearts turn to stone. It is not remembered whether in gardens stone lanterns illumine pleasant ways." And here, the first word, "sir," is quite significant. It could be seen to be kind of militaristic. This is obviously, there are military overtones to the poem with the war and everything else. So it could be kind of harking back to that militaristic response. It could also be respectful. It could imply a Vietnamese voice who's looking up to a Western questioner. And that in itself should immediately make us think that the questioner is quite patronising. I find the easiest reading of this word to be a little bit sarcastic, particularly because it's separated with punctuation from the rest of the line, and it seems somehow aggressive. "Sir, their light hearts turn to stone." Next thing I'd like to look at is the way the person giving the answers plays with the words of the question, the words light and stone. He's asked about did they use lanterns of stone. We have that word light there, but now to imply their hearts. And again, the word stone implies that they're no longer capable of feeling or caring. They have been completely destroyed by what has happened to them. And therefore, for me, he seems angry, he seems bitter. And then finally, we have this passive voice: "It is not remembered." And this is almost distancing himself from the question. It seems to be avoiding the question a little bit. The words "it is not remembered" are repeated later in the poem, and I think they're very significant to imply it doesn't matter what you think about us, it doesn't matter what you thought about us then, it doesn't matter what happened, because our culture has been destroyed and nothing you can do can change that. Moving on to answer number 3. Significant answer: "Sir, laughter is bitter to the burned mouth." This is a particularly painful image. The word laughter seems out of place in this graphic and brutal description, and then the alliteration between bitter and burn exaggerates the pain and anger. There's something incredibly graphic about that image of the burned mouth. It's not burned hands or burned face. The burned mouth seems particularly painful. Then answer number 5. "When peaceful clouds were reflected in the paddies and the water buffaloes stepped surely along the terraces, maybe fathers told their sons old tales. When bombs smashed those mirrors, there was time only to scream." It's an answer of contrasts. The start of it seems reflective. When water buffaloes stepped surely along the paddies, it seems like it's a fond reminiscence of what life used to be like. And this word peaceful is absolutely key in creating the sense of contrast of what is going to follow in the second half of the answer. We then have this metaphor: "when bombs smash these mirrors," and this reflects the fragility and the preciousness of what has been destroyed. It makes the paddy field seem something delicate, but also something very beautiful, and therefore their destruction seems all the more painful and all the more sad. And then this final word, the word "scream," emphasizes the pain. It makes it seem all the more real. So in this answer we have the whole contrast of their culture before and after the war kind of summarized. Next answer I'd like to have a look at is the final one: "Who can say it is silent now?" And this for me is a kind of final blunt statement, and it's an answer to a question in the title: what were they like? The answer is: who can say it is silent now? So that the answer to what were they like is it doesn't matter. They no longer exist. They are dead, they are gone, they are burned, they are destroyed. And this kind of emphasizes the sense of futility of asking these questions in the first place, which is again what makes me believe that it is not just the American politics who are misguided, but indeed the questioner asking those questions is misguided. And so in terms of our initial question, who's Levertov criticising the poem, I would say yes, obviously there's criticism of America and its soldiers for going to war, and of the war itself, of the pain and the suffering that this caused. But more than that, through the patronising nature of those questions, through the fact that there is no time given for answers, through the fact that the person asking those questions is judging a society or culture which he can never understand, by the values of his own culture, we feel maybe that this is the person who is as much in the wrong as the people who are doing it. That the lack of understanding which caused the war in the first place is just as strong in the person asking these questions as it is in the government, in the soldiers, and in those people driving the war to its bloody conclusion. Thank you for watching again. Please feel free to post any questions, and also obviously constructive comments are always welcome. Please keep checking back for more videos.